Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the ground control Cyclops Brewer from Voga Coffee, one of the most amazing brewers that you'll ever witness or get the pleasure of tasting coffee from, because the SCA award-winning technology allows you to extract flavors from your coffee that previously you might not have even thought possible. The ground control is not only revolutionizing the quality of what we can expect from batch brew coffee, but it also gives you versatility in a very small footprint. So game-changing batch brew coffee? Yes. But also, it can make batch iced lattes, batch cold brew, hot chocolate, tea. This thing is a workhorse, and it looks amazing as well. Like I said, small footprints, easy to train your staff on. And really, this machine is like a gift to coffee shops and customers alike. So if you're looking for something that raises the game on your batch brew coffee and just offers a ton of consistency and excellence, then I recommend for your coffee shop that you look into getting a ground control Cyclops brewer from Voga Coffee. To find out more information, go to their website over at vogacoffee.com. That's VOGA coffee.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly. Espressly creates beautiful, functional, branded mobile apps for your business. They love working with small business owners like yourselves to create a bridge between the convenience of mobile ordering and the experience that your customers love about your brand. It's a no-risk model where there's no setup or development fees. You have a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities. It also works with some of the best payment processing systems out there. In addition to this, it stores the data in the app, and you, as the owner, get to keep all the data. So all of this creates a pretty big win for your business. If you're considering, and I know there are a lot of us considering this right now, mobile apps for your business, then I recommend you look into Espressly. To find out more information and sign up today, go to espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about simple systems. And this is something that we talk about a lot on the show, systems that is. We talk about systems a lot. We talk about standard operating procedures. We talk about policy. We talk about just structure for your business. And that's so important. And as much as I talk about this, it becomes this giant goal, this big cloud, where it is, we want to have a system for our drinks or for inventory or something like that. But we don't know where to start. We don't know how to put that in place, and it's kind of intimidating. And what arises is sort of a paralysis, because in our mind, the problem is so big and the solution seems unattainable. And, I help clients with this all the time. And one of the things that I recommend to clients, and I recommend to you as well, is that you have simple systems. It's way better to implement a simple system that's imperfect with the idea of perfecting it down the road than to wait until you've got what you could consider a masterpiece of a system. We like to try to create these systems with a lot of complexity. We don't want to leave anything out. We want to either go all or nothing. And often what happens is we end up not developing the critical skills and dedication to the process needed to actually follow through with it. So let's say that you want to develop a system for inventory, for example, which I recommend everybody does. And so it's something that you need to pay attention to in order for you to know where things are going, what's coming in, what's going out, how much money you're making, how much money you're losing. I mean, it's very important. And if you think you have it in your head and that's good enough, eventually that's not going to be good enough. And I would argue it's probably not good enough right now. So let's take that, for example. With inventory, you might consider, well, what's the perfect spreadsheet? I got to go shopping for a template. I've got to go looking for, the right categorizations and all this other stuff. Okay, that might be true at some point. Right now, if you're not doing anything will be better than what you're doing. Anything. Paper and a pen would be better than what you're doing. Start something. I'm not saying be sloppy. I'm saying be dedicated to the idea of tracking your inventory and start using something instead of trying to shop for the perfect way to solve a problem that is continually dogging you in your business. If you look at how people treat apps on their phone for productivity, Now, I've listened to a few productivity podcasts out there, and what comes up in the cycle of topics that they tend to talk about is this notion that I need to have the perfect productivity app in order to be productive. And how ironic it is that there's so much wasted time trying to figure out which one of these apps is going to make me more productive. All the while, you're not being productive. So I'm just as guilty as anybody else of doing this. We're way more geared towards perfectionism than we would like to admit. So this idea that you have to have a perfect system, and if you have that attitude, what ends up happening is the system balloons into this giant thing. And previously, where nobody was doing the inventory, now we're counting everything in the entire store. And it's overwhelming. You have to respect the fact that systems serve the people. And if the people are not brought into the idea of using systems as tools gradually, then it's like drinking from a fire hose. People just shut down, or they phone it in, or they just assume, well, I was back there. Like, if you want them to count a certain item and you've created a complicated system for this and it's not simple, what'll happen is the baristas will start to just assume that there's a certain amount because they remember that from 2 days ago. And I don't think we sold that many of that thing. So I'll just write it down as we have 6 cases because I'm pretty sure we haven't really sold much of that. It's easier for them to do. Now, yes, there is another issue there with, follow through on the part of the barista, but that's the X factor that you have to take into account when you're creating a system. It has to be user-friendly. Who are the users of this? It has to be simple, and it has to be something that you can get up and going pretty quickly. So I'll say it again. If you're not doing anything is better than what you're doing. Get started with a system that helps you count. Get started with some kind of an onboarding program, some kind of a manual. There will be opportunities for you to make it better as you go on. But if you don't get started, then you're probably not going to get started unless it gets to the point where your situation is so unworkable that now there's a lot of angst involved in the process. So get ahead of the curve. Keep your systems simple. Make them effective. They should be counting the right things. They should be instructing and communicating the right things, but they don't have to be perfect and beautiful and complete forever and ever. Keep your system simple, and you're going to solve a lot of problems and prevent problems in the process. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you, that you took something from this that you could use in your shop. If you're interested in working with Keys to the Shop Consulting, you can always email me, chris@keystotheshop.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.